Hi guys, welcome back to the Crypto Consciousness. David here. I want to talk to you about today what's happening in the markets and what's been happening this past week, what to look forward to, how we can prepare ourselves to capitalize but also to minimize any losses. And if that sounds interesting to you, well, click like, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's get straight into it. So I'm here with the CoinSpot, obviously coinspot.com.au for those in Australia on our Australian pricing. We can have a look here at the pricing, starting off with Bitcoin. Everything's mostly in red. A couple of things are just a little bit touching on the green side, but very small percentages. If we go to the top, we'll see there's some big movers. Refinance, Wi-Fi, yield farming, TAL and UMA. Rev has gone ballistic. Here's what we call a massive pump. Check out the advanced charting there. For those who aren't familiar how to get that up, there is an option to have basic charting or advanced charting. Now this here looks like what happened to Doge that day where it pumped a few months ago. It went ballistic, pulled back. I bought it about here. It pumped up to about here on the charts. So we're talking maybe 20% shy of the top. And then it kept going sideways for a bit, and then it did its massive pump, and then recently an even bigger pump. This is a point where some people would be looking at buying. See, when it pulls back significantly, at least 50%, you'd be 50 to 60% is a good spot to look at buying. If the market continues its uptrend, you can look for charts like this that have gone crazy. But those who are buying near the top, who see a parabolic run, think it's going to keep going. It's impossible. Most markets do not do that. At some point, there is a pullback, and you can see here, this had a massive pullback. This is just in the day. So let's go back to the daily. There you go. That's what happened. Bang, it went flying up. It moved on to the next chart. It went up, to the next bar. Continued on. It doubled again. So from here, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 3x, and then again 4, 5. So a 5x in one day. That's 2 sessions there. And then it started to reverse down, and then buying came back in and slowly pulled it back up. So based on the 1 hour chart, I'd say buying kicked in here, it's pulled it back up, and this might continue up. Maybe. Depends what the fundamentals is. I don't know anything about this thing. I've just seen it pop up on my screen, and I'm just curious to see what it's talking about at 140%. I think it went to about 180% today, pump. So yeah, just be aware of these things. They do happen in crypto. So, but to get that ride, you would have needed to have already been in it, or you must have heard the news. Whatever came out, you had to have heard it. But you can see it's very stable. Whatever this is, it's almost like a stable coin. It's always pumps up and then pulls down, pumps up, pulls down. So just some basic fundamentals on the charting. If you see a wick like this, keeps pulling back, it wants to go up, but there's pressure to sell it off. It wants to go up, pressure to sell it off. So if you were to repeat that, this bar is doing it perfectly. It's pulling it back, and it may even just keep pulling that all the way back. But if there's fundamentals to it, you'd hope that wouldn't come back as far, and potentially might just test the previous top of 3 cents. And then continue its journey up if it is of any good, whatever this is. Now we'll look back, go back into the charts. You can see this thing has gone $1.60 in the past. So being a few cents for a long time, it's really wanting to bust out of that. And it's good that it's actually taken out the 5 cent mark. And it's even tested at 6, 7 cents mark. So you'd hope to see that stay above that area. If it comes back down, you probably won't see much more of this thing. But whatever it is, it's starting to make news and headlines, and so this might start to climb. But guys, this is just one example of what can happen in the market. It can go down and it can go up. So if we go back to our main page, those of you who are holding positions from, who only just got in, this is really for those who are new to the market. There's a lot of new retail buyers, meaning you're not big business or investors. You're just retail shoppers who are looking at investing in projects that are out in the market, and you want to get in, make some money. Hopefully you've invested in something you want to be a part of for the long term, like Theta and Holochain and Cardano and Polkadot. These projects are solid. Chainlink, they're all good projects that are holding new technology. Filecoin, Solana. These are projects, Terra. These are all good projects. Polygon, they're layer 2. So these are projects that have solid fundamentals. So most of these are really, really good. There are a few that I would just avoid, just purely because I'm not interested in the technology, like VeChain. It's one I got out of, even though I could have made quite a bit out of that. I was in on that on 1.5 cents. It's now nearly 30 cents. So I got out of that, wasn't into the RFID chip. So you've got to make decisions what you want to back with your dollars. You're voting with your dollars in a sense. So the more money that's in an industry or a crypto, the more it feels supported to move forward with what it's doing. The less it's funded and the less it's supported, the less that project will potentially succeed. We know in 2017, a lot of the ICOs, a lot of cryptos failed since then that weren't really fundamentally strong projects. They were just copying something else, or projects that were really trying to be something that they couldn't achieve, didn't have the team or didn't have the funds. Whichever it was, they didn't succeed. Projects that have been planned for many, many years, they're the ones you want to be a part of, like Holochain, Zilliqa. These are projects that have been planned for so many years, 5, 4, some even 10. Holochain's been planned for more than 10 years. The fruition of it is coming to light now, and that's really like a mushroom. It's the fruit part. The mycelium's been growing for a long time under the ground, but then finally the conditions are right and the fruit comes up, and that's what we're sort of looking at here. Strange analogy, but whatever, it works. Digibyte, slow moving but solid project. Theta's, the graph, that's a new project, so you can have a look at the graph. It came in with a lot of big money, and if you have a look here, let's go. So that's the daily chart. Came out early 2012, late December, let's say, in 2020, and really just kicked off in 21 Jan. So a few months ago. What are we, May? So 1, 2, 3, 4 months ago. And if you caught that project, it came out with quite a bit of money behind it, and it exploded to go, I think it was about $8 billion, and it's pulled back now to about 2 billion. Maybe it was about 5 or 6 billion, I'm not sure, but so it's pulled back. Now you can see this sideways, we'll call this consolidation. What that means is the price action, the supply and the demand, what people want to pay and what people want to sell it for, is stuck between this channel here of $3 and $1. We'll call it $1.50. There's a $3 and $1.50 range here of $1.50. So you could buy and sell that. If it breaks below, then potentially it's gonna lose a little bit of market capitalization. What's market capital? Means the value of that project. The capital that thing has is in the marketplace. So, for example, if you have a house and it's worth $100,000, let's make it $1 million. Yeah, you've got a house worth $1 million. If that makes you feel better, cool. You got $1 million house. That's its capital, its value at $1 million. If the market goes up to 2 million, it's worth 2 million. If it goes down to 500,000, it's now worth 500,000 based on what people are prepared to pay for it. And that's the same with any token, any stock, any commodity. It's that price action between who wants to buy it for what price, and the sellers, what they're prepared to get rid of it from. So this is the area that people are happy to offload it down here, and then it always drops, and then people pick it back up. You can see here the touch points, 4, 5 touch points there. So it's a good place to buy. Like if I'm looking at that to buy and want to get in, so I want to give you guys some advice. Right now, the markets, there's a lot of charts like this. Have a look for them. Look at the project. Are you interested in them? Look at the fundamentals. Do some background checks. What technology are they promoting? What innovation? What real life utility and problem are they solving? And application is being implemented by people around the world. If you feel that project has something good and you see a channel like this, you want to buy at the bottom part of the channel. So if I go like this, let's give some horizontal lines to work with. I'll go boom, one there and one there. It should be a bit of a different color. So you can go up here, change the color, change the thickness. Let's go thick so we can see it. I'll just delete that one and do another one. Beautiful, and boom, rightio. So it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and is it trying to go up or is it trying to break down? So this would be a point to buy. So you'd buy here, for example, is what I'd do. I'd buy it here and I'd put a stop loss at $1.50. So I'm prepared to lose 30 cents per token that I own on that. So if you do the maths, let's say you spend $1,000, how many? $1, it's at $1.83 at the moment. You'd get 500, let's say we're buying 500 tokens. If that goes up, and you could put so you got 500, and let's say it goes to $1.50. So $1.50, if price goes down to $1.50, sell my position. I want to sell 100% of it. So you would walk away with your capital of $750. So you're prepared to lose $250 out of your 1,000 to potentially make, let's just play with this range here, make a dollar range, right? So if it goes to, let's say, well then we'll put so we'll buy it here, $1.84. Then we'll sell it, put a stop loss. If price hits a dollar, let's go $1.49. If it price hits, sell me out. Cool. That's your protection to capture your 750 capital and to only lose 250. If you want to bring that lower, then you're prepared to lose a little bit more, and so on and so on. Now, we'll also put in at the same time, once we buy the order, we'll put in a sell order to say if price gets to $2, let's go about $2.90, just to be on the safe side. If price hits at $2.90, I want you to sell my 500. What is that worth? I make $1,450. So $450 profit. Take away your $20 of brokerage, roughly. It's about $15 actually. So you walk away $400 and something dollars. You know, that's how you can trade this movement. But those who tend to sort of get a bit more loyal and a bit obsessed with a project, they go, "Nah, this is going to go really, really high. Let's go. I think this might hit $5.50. Okay, and there might be many reasons for it. There might be YouTubers saying why it might happen that way. That's fine. But you know what that means is you're a little bit more committed to it and hoping to see that happen. And so when it gets to that $5.50, you need to be prepared to sell. But most people don't have orders in the system. So they just wait, and then it pulls back. They miss that ride, and it goes up again, and it pulls back massively, and they miss that ride. So what you need to be prepared for right now is potentially an altcoin season, an explosion of all these coins that are doing this kind of major 50% pullback and going a little bit sideways. This sideways is good because it says market is happy here. If you saw it go drastically down, market is not happy here, and it might be a bit more satisfied down below. People are leaving the project. Why? There's a few things you have to question. A few things. Why is this happening? But you know, ultimately, in a project like this, which has a lot of money behind it, like $2.2 billion at the moment, which, like I said to you, it's been worth a lot more. I think $5 or $6 billion at one stage. There's money behind it, so yeah, we should see this thing climb when the conditions are right and Ethereum is settled down. Bitcoin's also going sideways. We should see a massive altcoin season. So take note of this little idea, and this will apply with a lot of tokens. So if we go even just to look at Cardano's been going sideways for a while now. So it's ready to move up, and it has just busted out. And on a technical level, guys, I'm just using technical analysis here. 15 years of studying trading, and I can just give you some quick, simple things to consider. Doesn't always work as easy as it may look, but this is the way to make decisions, and hopefully calculated decisions that will pay off in some capacity. So here we've got an asymmetric triangle. It's busted out. It tried to bust out first of all. It didn't. It came back down. It faked out downwards. Okay, people panic. Then buyers come in because they know that's cheap. This was a bit of a crash. Remember that one. So we're here now. We've busted out of the apex, and off we go. We're starting to climb. Why? Fundamentally, this should be happening for a lot of projects with news coming up. But this, if you look at it's retested previous top, that's nice. So $2 is a good point to buy it back in. I even put some on the other day just because I knew that was going to do less downward motion on any crash, and probably better climbing as well, steady climbing than some other volatile tokens. So here it's already up 20 cents, so you know that's a 10% increase. Even on a down day today, we haven't seen much downward actions from that. But look, if we're looking at this token, there's news in June 30th. Supposedly the Copenhagen aspect is going to be activated on this, which means anyone who's running an Ethereum ERC20 a token, a project can transfer it over to Cardano. What will that do? They will have a lot of projects shift over to Cardano from Ethereum, which will drop the price of Ethereum and increase the price of Cardano. This is the fundamental thinking. It's not necessarily going to happen, but it may happen. This is what I'm thinking is going to happen. So I want to have my eggs in this basket here. So Cardano's proving itself to already be busted out. You know, many of us got in really when it was 10 cents, and when it busted out, again, point of 25, 30 cents, that was a good point to get in. I really got heavy on my load up at around 40, 45 cents in this area here because I could see this triangle also forming. Have a look what you're looking at there. It's almost that little bit there. So if we start seeing this nice steady climb and then a little bull flag here and then that repeated its distance, we should start seeing some good profits on that. Fundamental project, one of the smartest guys, developers behind this. He co-created the Ethereum network as well. Hodgkin. So, you know, this is a project you want to be looking at fundamentally and technically right now. Let's have another look. Bitcoin Cash has been breaking out. Bitcoin Cash has a high utility use worldwide. People who don't want to buy Bitcoin, which is $70,000 Aussie dollars, can look at getting an aspect of Bitcoin and an exposure aspect. So in Bitcoin Cash, you can use this worldwide to make payments. It's super fast. It's being used by thousands of people. Technically speaking, it's busted out here at 1,400 Aussie dollars. It was great to load up down here, and then when it sort of took out that previous top, it was quite exciting. It went to 1,000, and then it just went to 1,600, and we saw a bit of a correction the other week. That was a great time to buy. So that's kind of what we're looking at today for a lot of things, I'd say. Then it started climbing gradually, and then it just took off again. So will this continue its ride up? Potentially it could. Nothing goes straight up, and if it does, be ready for it to pull back down. So those who have made massive profits, take some off the top. Take your initial capital out. If you started with $10,000 or $1,000, take that out and then leave the rest to do its magic. Hopefully we see a beautiful altcoin season, and we might get triples and 10x's. That'll be great. If you don't see that, you might not be in the projects, but pay attention to what's going on in the rest of the industry. So it might not be that DeFi takes off straight away, or NFTs, or exchanges like BNB, Binance, Uniswap. They might take off, but they might not. If you start thinking fundamentally, exchanges should take off as soon as an altcoin season goes, because a lot of money comes into these exchanges so people can start buying and selling. So, but at that same time, if there's a lot of selling going on, at some point there will be, and then the exchanges start to lose capital because people start to take money out of the exchanges as well. So you've got to think of all the different fundamental effects and the ripple effects of different actions and what people are thinking. But today, the market being in super red, I don't want you to panic. I want you to actually look at this as a buying opportunity. When people are fearful, that's when you get greedy. You start looking to buy. When people are greedy, you look at selling and getting out of your positions to capitalize on your profits. Bitcoin this week has sort of spiked up and then pulled back. Ethereum is where all the attention's been at. We're now seeing a little bit of a pullback. We saw a massive drop today, massive 2 candles in 2 hours. If we do that as a daily chart, you don't really see that. You can see this indecisive. There's a bit of indecision going on here. That's what these candles are telling me, with these wicks down and up, and they come back to their middle point. So this area here, $5,000, 5,000 to 5.1 to 5.2 is an area that right now traders are battling it out. So why this happens, it's not usually the retail buys this is caused by. This is by the millions of dollars that leverage traders are playing with at the moment. So in Bybit, they're trading short or they're betting on long. And so what it is, it's really just people saying, I want to buy this at leverage. And then there are sellers going, well, it's too high. Let's short this now. This is a good point to short. But you can see the dominance is still up because the candles are green. So overall, people are probably getting liquidated because they think it's going to just keep exploding like it did in 2017. And it may do, but we just need to be cautious. Travel with a stop loss. Problem is with a stop loss, you do tend to trigger the market with orders. And if there is manipulation, the exchanges can pick up on where the dominant area is of a stop loss or a take profit, and they can try to flip the reverse action. So if they see a lot of stop losses at a certain number really close by, they can trigger that themselves. Who says they're not buying millions of dollars to trigger positions and to sway the market? I'm sure that they are potentially doing that. It is just something to think about, and so don't play too risky. What you do is you would trade with amounts that you're prepared to lose. So if you can afford $1,000 and you're prepared to lose that on a potential $10,000 victory, you could put a trade in and hopefully come out as a victor. If not, your account would be wiped. So what have you lost? You lost your 1,000. What have you gained? Hopefully your 10,000. So you can go either way, but prepare yourself for either way before you get in, so you're not acting emotionally. But do well in trade if you're an experienced trader. Usually it's about 5 years of trading experience. If you've got mentors and courses, then you potentially would cut that in half. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not suggesting anyone get into trading. I'm suggesting you look at more in investing in projects that you feel are going to be there in 5 years. That's the best way to go. And right now, if you look at buying opportunities, there are still some projects that haven't exploded, like RSR and DigiByte started to take off. Zilliqa, ZIL. These are projects that have climbed nicely, but they haven't exploded. So Ethereum's finally exploding now. We're seeing some really good activity. So you wouldn't be buying up here. Sure, in the past, if you go back in Ethereum's early days, let's go to auto. You know, when auto back in $10, and it kept climbing 20, 30, 80, 100, 200, 300, 500. So if you were in this run, you would have felt like probably untouchable. You would have felt the euphoria of what this is like. And there are a lot of people who became millionaires just from that run. You know, they would have put, say, 10,000 or 100,000 down, and that became a million, 10 million, and so on, 50 million, and then potentially sold out, bought other altcoins, and they did 100x, 50x, and they become millionaires ultimately within those few months. That would have been one hell of a ride. And that's kind of what we've sort of seen a little bit in the last 8 months. We've seen potentials of that run with certain coins. I've seen that with Holochain, Veracity. It's been a really good ride. But then we saw, obviously, the markets go down for a very long time, and this is where good traders learnt that it's not that easy to make money. Now we're at a point where, yep, there's a takeoff going on, and so anyone who's basically bought anywhere along the way there and just stuck with their guns and held their position, so hodled, it's one of the key words we talked about the other day in the other video. This is where you'd be making money. So can this keep going? Yes, it can. Is there institutional buying? Yes, there's lots of money coming into all this. So we can see this year has been massive amount of money flooding into Ethereum. So do I think it's going to go down anytime soon? Not necessarily. I think there'll be pullbacks, and that's what we're seeing right now. But I would just say to you, if you're getting in for the long run, sure, you could probably buy in now. Otherwise, if you're looking for trades and quick capital, which a lot of people think they can be millionaires in a few months, I wouldn't be jumping in to buy this to sell off in 1 month, because you don't know if there's going to be a nice big correction to $2,500 or less. So I do believe it'll keep going up in its own interesting way, but Ethereum has a way of tipping back down in red for a while. So anyway, guys, I'll leave it at that. Just a bit of a rant, and hopefully it finds you all well and you're all holding your positions and staying tight. Any questions, put in the comment. Do like the video and help me share this. I think we're 1/3 of the way for YouTube to support us. So the goal is to go 1,000 subscribers before YouTube actually helps monetize us. We obviously need funding I need time to dedicate to this. To do that, you need funding. So feel free to donate. I've got an Ethereum address down low. Eventually, we'll do a tipping jar, and you can hopefully contribute to that. Maybe even put it as a weekly thing you could do, because obviously this takes time, and I'm just using my research, my experience to give you guys some insights. But I'd love to actually have dedicated hours in the week to go. I'm going to be producing a video that will give you, not just 0.1% of my insight, but I would like to give you 10% if I can, or 50%. That would be really good. Anyway, guys, have a good week, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.